Hey, welcome back to the Misadventures of Mr. Fish. I'm Mr. Fish. Hey. Uh, Welcome back to round 2. Holy cow. Thanks for watching the first one, guys. I debated hard on this one. I might still do breakdown videos of each of the builds individually, but like I was telling you guys in the last one, a lot of these are WYSIWYG builds, or what you see is what you get. And with that, I did little write-ups and stuff of each one of them, giving teams and stuff. So we'll see if I end up doing that in this video, or if every single one of these gets thrown in video in the future. If you'd actually like more detailed breakdowns, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, and we'll figure something out. But right now, let's see where this video takes us. So when Gaslands Refueled came out, the first thing I knew I had to do was build myself a Beverly team. Beverly, the devil on the highway. And what better way to do it than with a team of Mustangs? So we have a Cobra Mustang, and then we have our 2 motorcycle Ghost Riders, each carrying a set of RC car bombs. Oh yeah, and because it's a ghost car, we went full ham on it. That's right. When we cracked this beast open, we turned around and put a tea light inside. Then I used little doll hands with one of the Citadel skulls, some dryer sheets, and some super glue, and made myself a nice little ghostly aura. So yeah, this squad definitely got nutso. I love the way that my Beverly turned out. It has that nice little ghostly aura about it. There's not a lot of fluff in Gaslands, but the little fluff there is, they mentioned, the cold chill. And so I had that very, Ghost of Christmas Past kind of style vibe. And then, don't see the bottom really, but it's literally just the tea light. So that, just loved it. And then I had these little John Deere tractor sets, and so used some hot glue, used some Citadel skulls, and I did some Ghost Riders. It reminds me actually of the movie Kroll. Oh, there's some serious 80s, maybe late 70s vibes for you guys, where they have the fire horses. And so I just had to do it. Plus, Nightmares have always been my favorite since back in the day with like Magic and Melissa Benson's artwork. And then, because with like the different skulls, I knew at least Gaslands, because this is, before I got into orcs and stuff, I did these little orky skulls as RC car bombs. Yeah. Wow. Next up, we had our first of the newer sponsors, Maxine. And so with this one, it got a little bit wild, as you can tell, because with this, we tried to emulate orcs for the first time for real. And here we have a pair of Boomdaka snaz wagons. Let me tell you what we did. So with Maxine checked off the list, we decided to go a little bit further down the orky rabbit hole and see how we would imagine Idris. And with it being a sponsor addicted to Nitro, we definitely had to go full Evil Sons. Paint them red, cause the red ones go faster. So you couldn't really see it in the last one, but Ramshackle did a really good job actually creating these little guys. we put inside here for drivers and gunners and things like that. And so with this one, with the bone shaker being a little bit more open, decided to take advantage of it. And because it's a bone shaker, decided to be a little bit cooler with it and add some Necron bits so it looked like a full-on skeleton. And yeah, it turned out pretty awesome. Got those side flamethrowers. Have you guessed what it is yet? That's right. Custom booster blasters. So you have a pair of custom booster blasters, and just like any other good evil sons, we also have some Death Killer War Trikes. And then, even though they're little goblins, they do actually match up fairly well with the orcs. So, yeah. I like them. There's a lot of crazy bits going along with them. So, and I love my little fire effects, the OSL and whatnot. So, heck yeah. And since I was filling out all the sponsors, and I needed something for a Dread Captain, I knew who better than Scarlet Annie herself, the Pirate of the Desert. And what better way to travel around than in a bus? A Squiggoth bus. Damn, this was a fun one to build. I love everything about it. So yeah, hands down, this is probably one of my all-time favorite builds. It's a bit ridiculous. We murdered a Triceratops for it, flipped its head around, cut its tail off and turned it into a tongue, used a bunch more of them ramshackle bits, made some armor plating using some popsicle sticks and corrugated cardboard, the base for a car, same car we actually cut up and used for this as a helmet. And then the rest of the van is there. We broke some benches, which you can actually see here, to make the grating on the side. And then we got some really cool bits from Ramshackle there. So yeah, our Squiggoth. The captain had to have him a proper ride. And since we were filling out the different teams, we might as well fill out different lore as well. So with this one, we decided to do a Mishkin Weird Knob. So definitely turned out awesome. Also, blue, because gotta be lucky if you're using chaos magic, and purple, so nobody's seen it coming. Good stuff. So because I wanted each of these orky builds to be similar enough, they were all 50 cans. So what's crazy is that this one was 50 by himself, but that is because he is a weird knob. And how we did that is we took an old school orc warrior, cut off his weapons, and replaced them with this ridiculous staff. Pop quiz, do you know who that is? Do you know whose staff that originally was? But performance cars are also normally single people, and we needed a driver for the knob, so we also took the extra crew. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Love it. Zany. Michigan. After that, we started running out of drivers and things like that. So we needed a win under our belt, and we just needed something kind of simple, but kind of crazy. So we went with Rusty's Bootleggers, just because, well, you can more or less do anything with them, and they were new to Refueled, so I didn't have anybody with trailers yet, so we had to go all the way in. So yeah, when I decided to do Orky bootleggers, I had to go wacky, and so went real simple, and it's literally just a monster truck and 2 bikes with trailers, and so they all have peach moonshine, which allows them all Molotovs, and so it is a bit ridiculous, but so this one is connected permanently. There's a magnet on there, and I could probably get that to pop off, but I just never did it because I accidentally super glued it together. But using some more old school Warhammer orcs mixed together with some modern stuff. I love these wheelchairs. One of my friends has cerebral palsy, and so when I first started finding these and I showed it to him, he just fell in love. It's so cool to have that kind of representation and stuff. And it's actually from a pro ex-gamer who rides around in a wheelchair. Let's see if the name's still on this one. No, I don't think it has it on the bottom of these. But yeah, and then kept it in the same ironic black and pink as this old blazer. I'm pretty sure it's a blazer. Or is this the one that's the Bronco? Can never remember. And this one doesn't really say it on there. It says Matchbox. But yeah, it was an old gimmick they had, and so yeah, we just wanted to get ridiculous with it. We started running out of orcs that were the orky drivers and stuff. So this technically is like the orc skulls that have just been painted to look more like orcs, and then same thing as the knob, weird knob. We used super glue and tissue to do this, and then we made these little bikes using some train bikes, and then we bulked them out to make it look crazy and orky and stuff. And then these are actually very similar to the Def Killer War Trikes, where it's a lot of lighter bits and other random stuff. And these ones are actually magnetized as well, so we actually run them separately as each individual bikes, technically, if we wanted to. So yeah, super cool. I love these, and I love the way they turned out. They're definitely wackadoo, but I feel like Drunken Orcs would be wackadoo. So, love it. So even though the kiddo drives me nuts sometimes, she does think about her old man. So she actually gave me this purple van, and I knew I had to do something special with it. And, well, the Daka Waka was born. Definitely one of the coolest things I've ever done. So yeah, when my daughter gave me this van and was like, "Dad, you gotta do something cool with it," and I was like, perfect. It's purple, so I had to leave the purple, and since purple is orcish camo, I had to add camo to it. And who had camo? Rutherford. So we did our Rutherford tank. And since it was a tank, we decided to get real wacky. You'll probably hear me say wacky a dozen more times when it comes to these guys. This thing looks like the thing from Star Wars. But I wanted the legs to go out far enough. The little turret could still spin. So it does. And like I was saying before, this one got a little bit controversial. Because, well, a Decepticon had to die for it. Turned out sick. Love the little lighter bits in it. Love the dags. Well, teeth. It's good stuff. One of my favorites. Especially one of my favorites of the orcs. Right up there with the Squigoth. So with some of the leftover bits from Chop Shop, yeah, I know, great name for a Decepticon that I'm murdering to make orky vehicles. we decided to do something even more ridiculous and did this little courier performance car for Miyazaki. And we used one of the ramshackle bikes as a sidekick. Turned out amazing. So as I was going through the sponsors, I got to Miyazaki, and I knew I had to do something crazy. And my buddy gave me this Hollinator that I couldn't figure out what I was going to do with. So I extended it out, used some of the leftover beetle bits from the Decepticon I murdered, decked it out. So I love it. And then with this one too, same issue as before. I was telling you guys before about using the straws with bad paint. It doesn't necessarily work well. But this is one of our also magnetized orcs. And this actually is, again, one of the guys that comes in the set with Ramshackle. Same with this. Cool little motorcycle guy. And we just kind of zazzed it up a little bit. So, absolutely love these guys. Yeah. Performance car with tank tracks for people who love rolling dice. One of the big complaints about Gaslands Refueled when it came out was a lot of people said that slime got nerfed. Well, in reality, slime was a little broken with some of the mechanics and how it mathed out, just because they could do a lot of craziness with their combination of aggressive tactics and just badassery in general. So I had to show everybody what's what and make some really awesome slime bumper buggies. So getting closer to the end of what we were going to do for all the sponsors and whatnot, I definitely knew I wanted some bumper buggies for slime. So with these slingshots, I had to do some kind of crazy, and they were red already. So just kind of welded on some bits, made us a digger knob and a gunner. It's kind of the last of our ramshackle guys as well, like I was talking about the gunners and the drivers and stuff. So, but we had to have our diggers. Because if we're gonna cover up all the different lore and stuff for the orcs, we had to have them. And then we had our biker knobs, which these were actually Kinder Surprise toys that took the front plow off of and made into crazy motorcycles with tank tracks. Because I don't know if you heard this earlier, but I like to roll dice. So, and then we just took one of the bone plates from the Citadel skull box, put it onto the helmet, voila, knob on a bike. These ones were definitely a blast. Ridiculous, but fun. One of the last sponsors that's new to Gaslands Refueled, and absolutely one of my favorites, is the Order of the Inferno. They have so much cheeky shenanigans because they play very similar to other factions like Slime or Idris, but they're like setting everything on fire. So, oh yeah, my little salamander. So one of the only downsides to the Order of the Inferno is that they're very, very similar to other things, but not quite the same. So I had to figure out a way to bring them apart from everybody else. And since everybody is kind of more or less being stereotypes of their sponsors, I decided to go with something ridiculous. And we got a monster truck that spews fire. Flamethrower on a turret. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, this one doesn't actually rotate, but literally just glued well, you can tell I ran out of super glue again, but I also like the welds. It's awful, but it's awesome. You know, it looks like rusty welded metal. Yeah. This is my little firebug. It's cool stuff. One of the last sponsors that we didn't actually have any vehicles for, and that is Vernee. So, what better way to take advantage of a madman dropping weapons than to make a squig buggy that counts as a bus? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be nuts. So you might actually have noticed this one a little bit earlier in the photographs, but I'm showing it a little bit later in when I built it. So this one actually bothered me for a really long time. It wasn't turning out the way I wanted it to. I painted it, I repainted it, I tore it apart. It was the first time I ever actually redid a build. It originally had tank tracks. I like the big butt like this though, because it kind of gave it the squig buggy vibe, and that's kind of what I went for, is the kind of the Rucka Truck squig buggy style vibe, and that's what it's supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a squig farmer, you know, a savage orc, you know, like a snake bite, who you know, bred squigs, and that was all the different dropped weapons for Vernee, you know. Unfortunately, kit bashing squigs is a lot harder, and so I haven't really actually made those templates yet, but maybe someday. Maybe someday. Oh, fun fact, those are the rotary blades that chipped off and broke while cutting things up, and so sometimes I save them and use those little sanding pads for little front dags. They look cool. Also, that's one of those spitter dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. Just throwing that out there. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but I'm glad that I eventually pushed through and did it. And it may not be the prettiest, but I'm glad I did it. It was fun. Plus I needed Vernee anyways, and with all the dropped weapons, this just squig buggy screamed. That's what I needed. So even though we were running out of all of our ramshackle bits for our orc squad, we were so close to getting all 13 sponsors done up as orcs. So we decided to push through, and we found some builds that kind of looked orky by themselves. And so all I had to do was just zazz them up, and then made them part of the warden. As you know from my previous video, I love yellow for Warden. Some people look at it for like orange and stuff like the jumpsuits, but I love the yellow. And so with these, we had to do prison cars, and because it's yellow and we're looking at orcs, we had to do them as bad moons. These were actually one of the first banners I ever really did, and are they perfect? No. Are they cheesy? Yes. Do I love them? Absolutely. So, yeah, I had to go do something crazy with it. Using some skulls to fill in the trunk and stuff. Built a body with some scrap legs that I used from another build and stuff to make this little skeleton guy. Like they captured an Umi and, you know, Ray, and then this guy he looked orky as it was. That didn't take much to just zazz him up, just put some bigger wheels on him. Made some exhaust out of like some plant things, back brace from a lighter thing. It's actually the natural color that it was, and then I just painted the parts that I glued and stuff. Ooh, must be late night. People are racing. Good stuff. Yeah, I love these guys. Just like the Warden, one of the few sponsors that we had already had done was Highway Patrol, so it became one of the last ones that we would knock out. And I definitely think we knocked this one out. I absolutely love these guys. They're so simple, so ridiculous, but they say exactly what they are. Some lucky gets. looking to get some teeth. So yeah, with the highway patrol for orcs, you know, obviously orcs aren't going to be highway patrol, but, you know, knew we had to do something crazy and fun with them. So, took a nod from the Blues Brothers, gave them some big old loud megaphones. And then, like I talked about before, this was actually a clear bar, and I just used a blue and red Sharpie and got that really cool look. And nope, this one doesn't blink, but let's see if this one does still. Our Orky gyrocopter for the highway patrol. It's fun stuff. Is it ridiculous? Yes. Does it look absolutely insane? Yes. Do I love it and think that it's mildly orky still? Yes. So, yeah, it was fun. And at first, I actually thought this was going to be one of our last builds, but we had one more. Oh, yeah. Love these exhausts. They're so ridiculous. I stole those from a Mickey Mouse toy. So, yeah, good stuff. Originally, I was going to make this video orcs only, but I decided to keep Beverly in there because I figured we'd start and end at the same place, because that was the one squad I had forgot about. So, I had to build me some Beverly orcs. I definitely love the way these turned out. They are savage. So yeah, this turned out to definitely be the simplest and most ridiculous of my orc builds, but I absolutely love them. The idea of orc ghosts for the Beverly squad I love it so much. And then these little rat guys. It's so ridiculous. Yeah. Somebody's probably going to murder me once they realize that these are Warhammer Quest and Hero Quest and little goblins like that, and the little boar beast from, you know, the movie Willow. So, yeah, I want them to have some flavor. And I definitely think they have that, especially considering they're based on orcs, and orcs don't have ghosts. So, they're based on orcs with a C. Yeah, it's a cheat, but they still turned out awesome. Now, the craziest part about all this, that's still not all my builds. But I feel like from that point forward, they got a lot better. But the reason why I wanted to stop here, besides the fact that the video is going to be just as long as the other video and we still have more to go, is the fact that this is the moment where it kind of set in motion my love of the orcs. Basically, two things happened shortly after this. One, my friends who have a shop just had started getting their 40K allocations, and they talked me into starting Kill Team, and you guys know the story about the Storm Boys. But the other thing was that it was around this time that I actually got to talk to Dread, and I just I sent him a thing just kind of talking about how I really appreciated like who he was, and the little things of how he, you know, kind of talked real about stuff. You know, he's just giving his really strong opinions, but at the same time, because he enjoyed the hobby and he enjoyed people being able to do stuff. He loved the kit bash. I love the kit bash. I kit bash like all my cars, you know, and I do ridiculous things there. And so it was just kind of cool. And when I got a hold of him and talked to him, he's like, just so you know, we also have a 40K orc community Discord, Facebook group and Discord. You should check those out. So I did. And it was just a downward spiral from there. Fell madly in love with the orcs. Fell more madly in love because the community behind him. Him and the rest of the war bosses have just cultivated such a great community there. Dreadwalk Gaming, Skarner, 6 Plus Stevo, and the Hobby Gate. They've even when Dim gets feisty, they still are some of the coolest dudes, and they love the hobby for what it is, and they help spread that kind of positivity. Even the sarcastic ones, even the cynical ones, and so it's kind of cool because this is what led to that. And I feel like everything that I've done on this channel is thanks to that, and there's tons of other ones. Like, there are so many other people that I've started following over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, streamers, like Big Mech, Dan Skull, and Let's Make It Orky, and some of the other YouTubers that are in the community as well, like Brack the War Boss, and the Drunken Orc, and there's so many. Like, just follow the links in the description, come to the community, and you can check it out there. Like, it's good stuff. They're good people. It's fun that I get to enjoy the Gaslands side and the Orky side of things, and so that's why I wanted to kind of do this little blurb. Now, we do just have a little bit shorter video coming up soon for the rest of the builds, but we also still have all of our micro machines. So, that being said, I'm going to let you go now because I feel like I've held you hostage long enough. Thanks for coming and checking out my builds. And thank you for staying tuned for more Misadventures of Mr. Fish. Have a good one.